Thanks everyone for staying with us. I'm Shivani Gupta and we're getting you rolling coverage on polling day, first phase of the battle for the states in 2022. And of course, fittingly, it is starting from Uttar Pradesh. My colleagues Anusha and Maha Siddiqui also with us, breaking down the big and the micro picture. But let me also go across and introduce our reporters who continue to be with us from across the 11 districts, 58 seats going to polls today. And Western Uttar Pradesh is a fascinating contest because there are so many issues that are dominating the discourse as UP kicks off its election run over 7 phases that it's really very difficult to figure out what is that one issue that is going to dominate the minds of the public. For the BJP, that one issue is quite clear, and that issue is law and order. The contrast between the SP rule and the BJP rule, combined with their development push and, of course, some divinity mixed in. But let me go across to Anusha first up to break down the issues that dominate Western Uttar Pradesh mostly. And here, Anusha, the focus invariably comes back to the Kisan.
To Kisan, and we heard the electorate as well. Law and order, of course, a very important issue that most people have spoken about. To explain the key issues of the Western UP, we're breaking it down into 3 parts. As Shivani said, the Kisan factor, law and order, and religion, of course, is another very important factor. But beginning with the law and order, what is the pitch that the UP government, that UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is making? And this is a very important pitch in Western UP. Voters feel safer. The NCRB data says that the crime rate, especially in Western UP, has come down. You have anecdotal evidence of women coming forward and saying they feel safer. SP is still seen as a Gunda party. That's what the BJP argues. They say, Kaam bhi aur lagam bhi. We will work for development and at the same time we will ensure that there is law and order in the state. Now moving on and talking about another very crucial issue, which is the Kisan anger which has dominated. 2 kinds of farmers you have to talk about 40 lakh sugarcane farmers in this region, about 4,000 crore rupees which they argue is still due. A lot of direct payments, Prime Minister argues, has already been made. More are underway. And of course, you also have to talk about the potato bumper crop that has happened, which has significantly brought down the prices of potato. As Maha was pointing out, there are certain schemes that the Samajwadi Party is talking about, a floating industry, relevant industry in this region. How much of that will really sit with the masses is something that only time is going to tell. And after Kisan, of course, there is the caste and religion factor, which is the underlying current in Uttar Pradesh politics always. Will the Jat votes really swing in favor of the BJP? In 2019, about over 90%, 91% Jats voted in favor of the BJP. Yes, that was Lok Sabha election, but not 90%, but similar consolidation happened in the last Vidhan Sabha election as well. Mathura, the next Ayodhya, will it consolidate the Hindu votes? Of course, this is one region where BJP is talking about development, expansion of the temple complex and saying religion and development can go hand in hand. That's the pitch that BJP is really talking about. So those are the key issues we talk as we talk about the Western UP, the broad issues that can be highlighted. And my colleague Maha will also tell you a little bit more about the RLD factor. How this particular political party historically has dominated the Western UP. And they're also the party, Maha, that has been wooed by both the sides.
Yes, absolutely. And, interestingly, Anusha and Shivani, what Jayant Chaudhary has done is not project himself as a Jat leader. He's projecting himself as a Kisan ka beta, Kisan leader. And that is because, as Anusha has been explaining, the agrarian issues are important. Not just the farm laws, but the fact that there is a sugarcane belt with a sizable number of families involved in it. 35 to 40 lakh families involved in it, and also a potato belt. And then that is why Jayant Chaudhary becomes very critical. He is in alliance with the Samajwadi Party, but the BJP has been trying to woo him as well. And here's why. Now, we are taking a filter of RLD influence, which is largely the agrarian belt. And here again, as I was pointing out earlier, if we split it into 2, and that specifically is West UP and the Doab area in Uttar Pradesh, which is going to the polls today, we have seen that in the year 2017, in the assembly elections, the BJP had 22 seats over here, leaving only 1 for the SP and 1 for the others, that is the RLD here. So these are the kind of massive gains that the BJP made in 2017. Was the picture slightly different if we take a look then at the next year, that is 2019 Lok Sabha elections. Let's take a look at that number now. That number, of course, down by a bit, and that is why this area of West UP becomes important. This is the region where the BJP was hoping if they ally with the RLD, they'll be able to make or at least hold on to what was theirs in 2017. Meanwhile, there is also another important factor in Western Uttar Pradesh, and that is a community factor of Muslims, because the Muslims, like the Jats, are in a sizable number over here. Now, the Jats, in fact, go anywhere between say about 7 to 18% in some areas, in some pockets 18%, and similarly the Muslims as well. What we have seen through our filters here, and let's take the Muslim factor now in Uttar Pradesh, and then we will only go down to Western Uttar Pradesh, so we can squeeze and number crunch on our magic wall to that extent. So 40 seats in Western UP influenced by the Muslim factor. And what did we see last time in 2017 elections is that the BJP, despite this combination, what did they have? About 25 seats in Western UP, and the SP came down to 12 seats. So clearly the BJP believes that if they can consolidate the Jat votes towards themselves, then it is certainly a winning factor for them. But that really is the big question. Will the Jat votes be consolidated, or will they split?
You know, Maha, it was also interesting, the overtures that were made by Amit Shah, especially to Jayant Chaudhary. I mean, it was very fascinating to see that play out. Who knows what happened post-elections as well? Because Amit Shah reminded Jayant Chaudhary, you've selected the wrong party to be with. But I'm leaving that aside for a bit. I want to quickly go across to both my colleagues Arun and Akash, who are joining us from Kairana and Noida respectively. It's 9 a.m. Arun and Akash, it's been 2 hours since the polling gates have been open. Arun, coming to you first up very, very quickly. What are the scenes? What's the rate of polling in the first 2 hours?
Well, that's right, Shivani. Voting is picking up. People are braving the cold and foggy conditions here in Kairana, as it has become the hot seat. Let me quickly show you a glimpse around at how people have started arriving here. And in the meantime, I'll also speak to the voters. Before that, I'll show you a list of candidates. As we know, it's majorly a fight between Samajwadi RLD and the Bharatiya Janata Party. But let me quickly show, for the benefit of viewers, that who all are contesting and whose votes they are going to cut out. That's something which we'll know. We have Congress parties. These 9 candidates which you see on your screen are the candidates who are contesting from Kairana. Let me quickly speak to a few voters who have come here early morning. आप बताइए सर, क्या मुद्दों को लेकर आप आज वोट डालने आए हैं? कौन से इश्यूज हैं?
जी, हम तो इससे महंगाई से परेशान हैं इनकी। ये सरकार ने जो महंगाई करी है, इसलिए इससे परेशान है। हम सरकार की बदली चाहते हैं।
सरकार की बदली चाहते हैं। आप बताइए, आपके लिए क्या ज़रूरी इशू है? यहाँ पे लोग यहाँ से छोड़ के गए, क्या वो भी इशू है? लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, कानून की व्यवस्था सुधरी, क्या इश्यूज हैं आपके लिए?
जी, कारोबार के लिए तो हर आदमी कहीं का कहीं चला जाता है। हमारे यहाँ से बहुत भट्टे पर जाते हैं, तो वे वापसी आ जाते हैं। जो गए थे तो वापसी कैसे आए?
अच्छा, किसानों को लेकर एक बड़ा मुद्दा है, जो गन्ने की फसलें हैं उसका पैसा, और भी काफी किसानों को लेकर क्या कुछ मुद्दे हैं आप लोगों के? किस तरह से देखते हैं?
यहाँ तो कुछ नहीं है, यहाँ पर तो कुछ नहीं है।
All right, Arun, we'll keep coming back to you.